Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and I think it's time that we have a serious talk about something that affects all collectors, and that is our compulsion, our drive, whatever you want to call it, to have these little pieces of plastic in our possession. And I'm going to discuss it with reference to this guy, somebody that I've never looked at on the channel before. This is the Hasbro Masterpiece version of Bumblebee. It is actually labeled as MP-08. I guess that it's different numbering for the Hasbro releases. I always knew this guy's MP-21. So, you know, take that for what it is worth. But I've never been one to be too deep into the MP line, so this is going to be interesting because, of course, having a name like Masterpiece, this guy is going to be tens across the board, right? Because that's what I expect, right? Yeah, tens. We'll see when we look at everything to do with this guy and talk a little bit about our drive to collect in the latest GotBot True review. Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share, check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor. Have a look at Universal Collision, and for me, everywhere. And we're going to talk about this guy. So this is someone that I never planned to get. If you have been watching my channel for any amount of time, you know that I haven't really been in the Masterpiece line, largely because I've always said that's a rabbit hole that I'm just not prepared to jump down. I've always been kind of nervous about figuring if I get one, I'm going to want them all. And these are, you know, supposed to be the best of the best, top of the line. Maybe I am a perfectionist, but for the price tags that these guys come with, I expect it to be tens across the board. And I managed to score this guy on an exceptional deal. It is not a KO or anything like that. It is official, and I happen to get a really good deal. And when I say a really good deal, I mean about 40 bucks, folks. Now, I've looked at a couple of KO MPs on the channel, thanks to Andrew, and one of them, the blue version of Blue Streak, I was really impressed with, and the other one was Wheeljack, who I was a bit disappointed in, to be perfectly honest with you. So let's kind of set up how it is I'm going to measure this guy, because that's important to know. My understanding in doing some research is that the Japanese release of MPB retailed, I believe, at about $69.99, or at least that's kind of the going rate. Not to say there isn't fluctuation. Then we got word that we were going to get this version of it, and I believe in the US he retails for $64.99. Maybe somebody could correct me on that. Here in Canada, taxes in, originally, this guy came out to be $135. That's a lot of money, folks. And here's my first question. When we look at our compulsion to collect, is this guy worth $135? Well, we're going to start off with the box. Now, this one is a little bit dinged up, which is part of the reason why I scored such a good deal. It comes with this beautiful sleeve on it, and if you remove the sleeve, it's just, you know, it's just a box. Pretty straightforward. And, of course, you can put the, or you should be able to put the sleeve back on just like that. It's, you know, it's nice. I like the artwork. Bumblebee looks great on the cover. So does Spike, and in this release, he is specifically referred to as Exosuit Spike. And of course we have the product shots and whatnot on the back. Taking this out of it for a second, I just wanted to, I guess, note a couple things. There's a bio right up on the side about, you know, how before Bumblebee became a warrior, he was a young scout, eager to prove himself with the Autobots, blah, blah, blah. And that's their 4 languages. Now on the back, we have, and I just want to find it before I lay it back in here. Oh, yes. I find a couple of things written small on the back to be very interesting. First, Exosuit Spike Witwicky, great. Down here it says, some poses may require additional support. So poses that you've seen may require other supports. Okay, duly noted, and I understand that you probably would have display stands or whatnot. Fine enough. But the basic poses, I'm assuming he can pull off no problem. And it says that he comes with the figure, Spike, the instructions, and 7 accessories. Remember that I said 7 accessories. Remember that. Yeah, 7 accessories. And of course we got instructions in here. They're just in a clear bag. They look like, you know, I guess the drawings and what's highlighted looks nice. These are actually nice looking instructions. I don't have them in the bag. You'll notice too, there's this black piece in here. This has the side mirrors on it. I assume that that's 2 of our accessories. No problem. 2 of our accessories. And I'm cool with that. I mean, the side mirrors are small. You know, they shouldn't be there in robot mode. Actually, I believe he's only supposed to have 1 side mirror. Again, somebody can correct me on that if I am mistaken. And then when we slide out the clamshell, we have this. Okay, his blaster here, which we will look at, is a 3rd accessory. This wheel cover, spare tire cover, is a 4th accessory. This face is a 5th accessory. I see 5 accessories, not 7. If we include the face that he has on now, I guess that's a 6th. And the only thing that I could see being the 7th is this little black piece right here, which I will show closer when we look at this guy. That little black piece is, I guess it's a license plate or a license plate cover. I guess that's 7. But come on, does that really count? And you can see, of course, we have Spike over here, we have Bumblebee over there, and it's in a clamshell, which is nice. I do appreciate that. So we're going to look at each kind of accessory, I suppose, sort of individually here first, and it's not the easiest to get all of these out. So we're going to lay B there, and we're going to lay Spike there, and we're going to start off looking at this. Okay, now this does look nice. Actually, here, maybe I can bring it in this way. It's a wheel cover, nicely painted. I believe it was molded in like this orangey yellow plastic based on this side because it's very matte. But then all of this out here is very gloss. I think it was like an orangey plastic that was painted orange. And I say orange because this incarnation of B is more orange than he is yellow. Not like, when I say orange, I guess I mean like school bus yellow, school bus orange, tractor yellow, tractor orange, if that makes sense to you. It's not quite the hue I would have picked for it, but I can't really fault that. I mean, the hue is the hue. It is what it is. Anyway, that's nice molding. It looks good. Then we also have, actually I'll get both of these out. Then we also have this face. It's the smiling face, and as you can probably tell, it's going to go on quite simply. There are 2 little pegs here in the back. Those 2 little pegs are basically going to peg in on his back of his head, or well, the front of his head, depending on how you see it. And this face can go in there. It's a nice sculpt, nice smiling a nice smiling Bumblebee. You know, it looks good. We will probably look at that later. And of course, he comes with this beautiful blaster. Now this I do really like. It's a metallic blue. It has wonderful shine and sheen on it. It really, really does look great. I am very impressed with this. I wish all blasters could look like this. Sadly, they do not. Now, we have the main event, which is going to be this guy. And we have, I guess, part 2 of the main event, which is going to be this guy, Spike. Now, for the face, the blaster and the side bears and that little hubcap piece, yeah, I'll give all of that 10. The accessories are fine. I don't think there's 7 of them. I think that that's stretching it, but they're fine for what they are. We're going to kind of do a 2-for-1 here and look at both of these. Again, being a masterpiece, I'm really expecting that these would be 10s. So we're going to take B out of it. We'll look at Spike first. So we have Spike here, and this is the way he comes in package. And, you know, it's fine. You fold out that arm, and you fold out this arm, and really you bring them down. Actually, maybe you shouldn't even fold them out. You should just turn them. There you go. There you go. Just turn them and bring them down. And this is basically him in action mode. Now, oh, and I do have his head up. I'll put that on. He looks good. He does. He looks good. And his paint apps, honestly, I'd like to say 10, but I can't. I can't say 10 for his paint apps. And do you know why I can't say 10 for paint apps? Because of this. The guy, if you can see, maybe can I put these back a bit? So I can get him in here a bit. The guy has no eyes. It's like the creepiest thing I've ever seen. He has no eyes. They should have been painted on. I am going to have to remedy that. I'm going to have to paint those on. It's a fine head sculpt. Severely lacking in paint there, and I can understand not painting the lips or anything, but the eyes should at the very least have been painted. Outside of that, I think the paint apps are pretty great. It very much puts me in the mind of Exosuit Spike. So what am I going to give his paint apps? Not a 10. Not a 10 because the eyes are missing, but I will give it a 9 because I know I can fix that. It's just a pain, I shouldn't have to do it. But I'm going to give it a 9 because what is done quite well. Let's look at his articulation. Well, the arms can't really go forward. Okay, let's do it this way. The arms can go up and down. The head can't go left and right here now with this dome over it. But if you remove the dome, the head can still not go left or right, but it can look up or down. Interesting. So the head is quite limited, we will say. The legs can go forward that far. They can go back only that far. There's a little bit of a knee bend, nothing major. Nothing to get excited about. The side hip skirts do go out, so he gets, you know, full splits. And his leg can bend all the way up that way, which is weird. I really wish that that was the knee joint the other way. And I suppose you could say that his feet tilt a bit, but that's really for transformation. Now the arms. I said they can go up or down. They can't really go forward or back. Not really. If you open this hinge here out, you can get him to move sort of across his body because there's a weird movement there. They do swivel, but that's about as straight as the arm is going to get, which normally would really bother me, but it kind of doesn't bother me with this guy. And I'll tell you why. Because in the exosuits, honestly, they never really were able to bend their arms out very straight anyway. So I'm kind of okay with that. Still, the arm should be able to go 360 and they can't. The knee should have a deeper bend and it doesn't, and the head should have better articulation and it doesn't. I'm going to give his articulation an 8. by the way, if you're curious about how big or small this guy is, well, here he is next to my custom Titans Return Legends class Bumblebee. So he's basically the size, and that Bumblebee doesn't want to stand, he's basically the size of a Legends class figure. I looked at this bee in full in episode 257. By the way, if I didn't mention, when I looked at the Blue Streak and Wheeljack KOs, Wheeljack was episode 179, Blue Streak was episode 166. So this gives you an idea of just how big or small this guy is. So, you know, the guy has a 9 for paint apps because I'm being generous. He has an 8 for his articulation. It's all right for what it is because this was kind of a hampered suit anyway. But let's get into his transformation. Maybe that'll solve everything and save everything. Very first thing to do is take off that dome and angle his head up so that it looks like he's driving this once we actually transform it. Would we call that parts forming? I guess that's minor parts forming. The arms and the chest are definitely the biggest pain to do with this guy. So we'll do those last and we'll try and do the easiest stuff first, as we always do. So where do we kind of begin? Take these feet and sort of push them forward a bit so that you actually have room to work. And open out this and open out this. These are the tires. Right now they're straight. There's a little hinge here. Both tires need to bend down. They're going to become, you know, these tires, they bend down, they tab in, bends down, and it tabs in. Take these feet and bring them all the way to the back, all the way to the back, and they slot in. You'll see exactly where they slot into. You can even kind of angle these tires down. Now, the idea next is to put these feet together, and there's a little hole here on this foot, and there's a little tab over on this foot. So we will go ahead and put them together. And basically the knees kind of compress, and the idea is that these two little tabs are going to go up into a little slot way up here. They do not hold in super duper securely. I'll tell you that much right now. So we bring that up, and of course his legs come apart on me. I'm going to tell you they kind of come apart anyway, but I guess it's to be expected because this is really quite small. There's the kind of the main body, we'll say, of this vehicle mode done. And here's how it looks underneath. So you can, you know, you can see kind of how this is coming together. Next, we have these arms up. Reach back here, and hopefully you have nails, and kind of flip his fists, if you can call them fists, in, but you're flipping out this little tire. And you're doing the same over here. You're flipping out that little tire right there. And now you have those two tires out. Beautiful. Come to his chest here. And actually, untab the shoulders. You'll notice there's a little tab here. There's a little hole in... Ooh. There's a little tab here and a little hole up there in the shoulder. You need to untab that from both sides, and you'll sort of bring it forward. And then you flip down this whole chest piece, kind of keeping the arms out of the way. So the chest piece was up here, we just flipped it down on his belly, basically. Next, we want to orient ourselves with these arms. And really what you need to do is position them so that they're kind of like this. How do you do that? You take the arm and you flip it all the way out, and then you turn it around. Be careful because these arms love to pop off of the ball joints. They're easy enough to get back on, but they do really love popping off. Next, you take the whole arm and you bring it down. There, and you bring it on this side, you bring it down. Like that. You're going to basically push these into the body, but the way that it's supposed to work, just so you know, is you have a little tab back here on the leg, and you have a little hole up right here, and they should tab on just like that. And this one over here does not seem to want to tab on quite as nicely. And boom, there you go. You have him in his vehicle mode, and he rolls. I have one tire that rolls well, the other tire, not so much. This tire over here, not so much. This tire rolls great. Transformation is pretty easy. He's okay solid when he's done. He's alright solid. I can dig it. I'm gonna give his transformation a 10. I am going to give that a 10. I think it's pretty ingenious the way he kind of compacts together like this. And again, maybe I'm being a little easy on him because I've kind of always wanted a spike in this version and never had one until now. So we had an 8 for articulation, a 9 for paint apps because I was generous, and a 10, probably being a little bit generous again. Overall, this is a 9. 9 is not perfection. 9 is not a masterpiece, and I'm sorry, but for me, a masterpiece means perfection. Still, is he worth having? Yeah, I think so. I think the alternative is like a third-party version that might have been done by Impossible Toys, maybe, and that thing is not good at all. This is pretty good. I have to say, it really is quite good. I'm pleased with Spike in this set. So taking him out of it, let's bring in the main event. B. Oh boy, oh boy. So he's going to be a perfect 10. Paint apps for this guy. And you'll notice I have the Autobot symbol out here. I have that out because I really kind of wanted to make sure to show it. Now this whole panel does flip, so the top of his car can just be yellow. In fact, it probably should be. You will notice that there's a very small, maybe you'll notice, there's a very small hole here. There's a very small hole right there. That's where his headlight, side mirrors, I'm sorry, should be. I don't have them in, but obviously that's where they are intended to go. In this mode, he does roll like an absolute champion. I mentioned this as an accessory. You can, if you want, remove this little black license plate thing, and you can take the little peg that's on the bottom of this down right here, and you can peg that in on B back here, and now he has that. You can't have both of them there at the same time. Personally, I say who cares, because I would honestly just not really worry about this at all, this black piece at all, not even a little bit. So yeah, so he rolls great. In robot mode, I'm going to tell you now, he really has stellar articulation, and we'll see that in a bit. That's a 10. Paint apps, okay, like I said, the shade of the yellow isn't my personal taste, but honestly, I think that's a 10 as well. I really cannot fault it. And underneath, I mean, you can see right there, you don't really see any robot kibble. It cleans up really nice. So far he does have a 10, and he has a 10. Impressive. Very impressive. But we still have to get into his transformation. I know I just said that we were going to jump into transformation, and when I went back and looked, I realized that I'd forgotten a couple of things and made one minor mistake, so I'm going to fix that right now. I said that this and that black piece can't be stored at the same time. Actually, they can. You can always put this, if you are so inclined, back here, if I can get it in. I still kind of stick to the idea that this is really not worth the hassle. But you can put that back in there. And down and underneath here, up here, over to one side or the other, you have, maybe it's this side. If I can get it to fit. Of course, now it doesn't want to do it. You fit his weapon in here for his weapon storage in vehicle mode. Just like that. There's a little space here and the handle fits in there. Now there's also a little opening down right here, and if you want, you can take this and put it into that opening, and it's up underneath him. So you actually can store both of it here. I just wanted to point that out before we got into transformation. So I'll take those things off again. And I'll pop that out. Basically the handle here is what secures it in place underneath. Okay, and I'm going to pop this black piece off because I don't, personally I don't dig it. I don't dig it. I'm going to put that back on. And now we're going to get into the transformation. Like I said, he's really doing well. The transformation, it's certainly interesting, I'll say that. So where do we begin with this guy? Well, you begin really by angling his legs down this way, and really you just extend them out. Split them, no problem. Fold up the feet. Actually, it's really kind of reminiscent at this point of the, Titan's Return version. Now, the legs are coming along nicely. Basically, you need to fold in the tire next so that he will actually be able to stand on his feet. The knees come up and forward. You push it all the way forward, comes up and forward. Push it all the way forward, no problem. Come here and turn that door piece in and this door piece in. Same over here. Turn it in around his foot. I really do like that. I kind of wish that, this black was also yellow, but that's just me being very, very nitpicky. It's correct. It's good. I can't fault it. Next, you want to, I guess, come to the back is probably the best thing next. And when you come to the back, you angle and untab this arm piece to come out. Don't bring it all the way down. Same over here. You bring it out. Don't bring it all the way down yet. There's a reason you don't bring it all the way down yet. Because you need to kind of angle that up, and then this front flap here, even on the instructions, not the instructions, the box art. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to take him out of it. He is, this is the masterpiece box art, and he's mistransformed. He is mistransformed on the box art. Let me take this back so you can actually see what I'm talking about. This flap does not stay down. It doesn't. It goes actually poked away quite nicely. So the actual box art is incorrect. And I'm not sure exactly how to show you this. Okay, so bringing B back in and closing in on things here again. Okay, so we have these arms out. This whole waist section needs to come down. This folds, and we don't fold it all the way up. We fold it just enough that it fits into a slot, basically, in his abdomen. It's not easy to show, to be honest with you. Take that. What a pain. Okay, let's do it that way. We're going to take this whole backpack down. There's your epic head reveal with the whole backpack down. I gotta bring this back a bit. We're going to take this whole back piece down, just so I got room here to work. Maybe you can see it here. There's like openings up through his body. Can I get this? There. Get those arms now up by the way. There's openings right here up through his body. Right there. And this folds up in such a manner that it slides up in here. I think that that's brilliant. I really do. I think that that is a stroke of genius. Next, these arm pieces. We bring it down to the side and bring it in, down to the side and in. We untab the arm and untab the arm. Flip out his fist and flip out his fist. We turn this around and we take that piece in behind his arm. We turn this around, take this piece in behind his arm. And we're almost done. Now you come to the back here. And you have to turn this whole back piece around. People have said that this breaks off. I don't really know why it would. Turn that back piece around. Angle it up like this to give yourself clearance. Fold that in. And then you bring this down. And if you are so inclined like me to leave the tire cover on, you can just leave that pegged in right there. So that he has his tire cover on his back. And am I done here? Oh, I popped this off. One moment. Actually, that's never happened to me before. That's a first for me to pop that bumper piece off. And now that I got that back on, boom. That wasn't the fault of transformation. That was me being a butterfingers. What can I say? The transformation is pretty great. Not difficult. You do have to get that one panel that slides up in his belly correct, or I guess you could always leave it down front. It's good, but I wish that this pegged in more solidly on the back. It's all right, but I just wish it was a little more solid. I'm going to give his transformation about a 9. It's good. It's not perfect. The head goes left. The head goes right. It can look up and look down. I'll say this. I like having this tire thing here on the back, but it's extraordinarily loose. Like that loose. I think that's disappointing. The arms, they can go way out. That's fantastic. We have a nice elbow bend. The wrists cannot swivel. The fingers don't articulate. They do nothing. We have hollowness here in the arm, which this whole panel really could have somehow flipped up right there. Or if it could have flipped up right there, that would have solved that and been fantastic. He does have a beautiful, beautiful unhindered waist. Legs way out to the side. Forward. Back. Nice 90 degrees at the knee. And pretty fantastic ankle tilt. He stands really, really well, really solid. Just for some comparisons here, You know, here he is with the FOC Legends Bumblebee, so he's bigger than the Legends. Here he is with the Deluxe FOC Rage Over Cybertron Bumblebee. So he's not quite as big as a Deluxe, so he's bigger than the Legends, not quite as big as a Deluxe. He's sort of in between those two. He might work with your Chug collection, possibly, depending on where you positioned him and what you thought of his scaling. You know, here he is with, just cause why not, here he is with a Deluxe from Transformers Prime. He's, you know, he's almost as big as this guy. And here he is with his most recent Titans Return counterpart. And I like the yellow on the Titans Return better. It seems more Bumblebee-ish to me. So you can see that this guy, you know, not being quite as big as a Deluxe. And I could bring in any Deluxe, to be honest with you. And you'd see he's slightly smaller. Now, he's good. He is. I gave Spike an overall score of 9. I'm going to give B here an overall score of, because I don't like the hollow forearms. The hue is a little off to me, but, you know, besides that's pretty good. Those things, like this doesn't stick in there real well. Oh, I guess I should show this before I give him a final score. The whole Faceswap gimmick is pretty easy. You just pop that face off, and there are two little pegs in the other face, and you take that and pop it in. You know, this is the only other face he comes with. His blaster quite easily goes down, you know, into the 5mm ports. You know, that being said, is it 5mm ports? No, they're rectangular ports. I'm sorry, rectangular ports to accommodate that handle. I thought they were 5mm. My mistake. Just an interest sake now, though, since I have one here that would have a 5mm port. You know, if you tried to give this blaster to Titans Return B, he can't really hold it. It's very loose because it's not the right kind of opening. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, and the face swapping gimmick is cool and his blaster's cool, but I gave Spike a 9. I'm going to give B, despite the couple of things that do niggle at me, I'm going to give B about a 9.75. He's really good. He is. He's really good. But neither of these are perfect 10s across the board. Close. Oh, so very close. Here is where I wanted to have that discussion about our penchant for plastic, folks. For me, personally, and my collecting style, I feel like, you know, $20, $40 here or there for a Deluxe, for, you know, a Voyager. Okay. I can get behind the cost for a leader class. And if I'm going to spend a couple of $100, I want the thing to be a couple of feet tall and turn into a city. Here's my question to you. Was this worth $135? Is this, for, you know, my American audience, worth $65? To anybody watching anywhere else in the world, you probably have an idea of your exchange rates. Is this guy worth it? I don't think so. I don't think it's worth that. You know, I need my money for crazy things like, oh, I don't know, getting my roof re-shingled today. I had that done today. I don't have the money or the interest or the justification of that price tag for these guys. Now, like I said at the very beginning of this, I managed to get an exceptional deal, $40. Are these worth $40 Canadian? You bet. You absolutely bet. Which I guess would be about $25, $28 American. Is it worth, you know, $69.99 Canadian? Maybe. But that's your judgment call. I'm still out on this whole Masterpiece line. I think toys are great. This guy is great. But I don't really feel like I quite get the value for my money. And maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just not my thing and I just plain don't get it. I'd love to know what you guys think. Is this guy worth the price of admission? Let me know. And if there's others that you would suggest that I really should, you know, sometime in my life have an opportunity to see, hey, point those out to me too. I always like to hear from you guys. Anyway, overall score, because he's a 9, because he's a 9.75, overall score for this whole set, it's about 9.5. It's pretty close to perfection, but just slightly under. Anyway, folks, thanks for giving me some of your valuable time. You know that I always appreciate it, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the video.